Am I wrong for telling my parents they were deserved to be kicked out of my sister's wedding? This is a throwaway as my brother is on Reddit and I don't want him knowing my real account name. So, my 37 female, brother Mike 35 male, is a knob. Always has been and always will be. He has been babied to the point of uselessness by our mom and dad, and that's made him an entitled slob. When he was younger, he showed promise playing rugby, which had my mom and dad believing he was going to be a superstar. The problem was, though, that he never had the work ethic to fully fulfill his potential. However, this meant that he was the golden boy of the family and he could do wrong in my parents' eyes. He was a bully at school, which they brushed off as other kids making up lies, but he was an even bigger bully at home to our younger sister Kelly 31 female. He would constantly prank here, which basically meant he would do anything he could embarrass her, including things like pulling her dress up in front of the whole family at a wedding when she was 15. Mom and Dad just said it was siblings being siblings, but the rest of the family were mortified by his behavior. I did try and stick up for my sister, and it worked to a certain extent, but after I went away to uni, there wasn't much I could do as Mom and Dad just don't listen to anyone. It got so bad that when she was 18, my sister gave up going to her dream university, St. Andrews, and instead moved to London to go to the Imperial College London. This was a huge shock to all of us as she had been talking about St. Andrews since she started high school at 11. When I asked why, she said that St. Andrews was too close to home and she would be expected to go back home more often, but if she went to London, she would only have to go home for Christmas. This broke my heart. After she left, she did exactly that. The only time she was home was Christmas and when I got married. This really annoyed Mom and Dad as they said she was abandoning the family. I kept my mouth shut and just let them whine occasionally as I didn't want an argument. After graduating from uni, my parents expected her to move back home, but she didn't. She got a job working in southern England and stayed down there. We are from Scotland for reference. 6 years ago, Kelly met a great guy, Jake 30 Mallers. The day she met him, she called me gushing about him, and I've honestly never heard her speak about anyone the way she does him. I've met him several times when I've gone down to visit Kelly, and he's great. Good-looking, funny, great job. His family are lovely, and most importantly, he treats Kelly like she hung the moon. It's very cute. After she met him, she cut down how much she came home even more as she spent the first Christmas with his family, and then the pandemic happened, so she ended up not coming home for 3 years. Her first Christmas home, Mike started his usual bullshit, trying to be their center of attention. When it didn't work out as well as he wanted, as most of the family were more interested in getting to know Jake, he then tried to prank Kelly. He got a big bowl of water and was going to pour it over her. Jake saw what was happening and stepped in front of Kelly, telling Mike to not even think about it. Side note, Jake is 6'3" and has been doing martial arts since he was 4, so he can be very intimidating when needed. Mom and Dad tried to play it off as a harmless prank, but Jake was having none of it. Mike started whining about it just being a prank, and Jake told him that if he pranked Kelly one more time, he would prank Jake by putting his foot up his ass and his fist down his throat. Kelly and Jake left about an hour later, but after that, Mike, Mom, and Dad all had an issue with Jake. Kelly hasn't been back home since. That leads us to now. Kelly and Jake are getting married. They sent out invites in February for August. However, they didn't invite Mike. Mom and Dad are obviously incensed by this and had a huge argument with Kelly. They threatened not to go, and Kelly just said no problem, she would get Granddad to walk her down the aisle. I went around to their house on Saturday with my kids. Immediately, my mom started complaining about Kelly and the wedding. I sat and listened for a while before I'd had enough. I asked her what did she actually expect. Her and Dad have allowed Mike to be the golden child and get away with everything. Because of that, he can't keep a relationship. Due to him thinking everyone should do everything for him, he can't hold down a job because every job is beneath him and he's still living at home with 0 prospects in life. The man-child is a bully who I don't trust to be around my children unsupervised. He bullied Kelly for most of her teen years, and her only escape was to move over 400 miles away and never come home. My mom got very quiet and then asked me to leave. A few hours later, my dad called going mad because I'd upset my mom and was taking the side of an ungrateful little girl instead of my parents who gave me everything. This started a huge argument between me and him where I told him he'd been a crap dad to Kelly and didn't deserve to walk her down the aisle. I've just had enough, but now I've got extended family members telling me I've gone too far as my mom is barely speaking to anyone and keeps crying. My granddad said it was about time I told them off, but my grandma is upset by all the arguing. So am I wrong for telling my parents that they suck to parents and deserve to be kicked out of my sister's wedding? Update 3 days later. Hi all, that post took off a lot more than I thought it would. There was way too many comments for me to respond to, but I tried to read every one of them. I was asked for an update, so here it is. There were a few things that came up repeatedly, so I'll address them first. The pranks only started after I had left and gone to uni. He would say things to Kelly, and I would have a go back at him when we were younger, but it wasn't anything more than that until after I'd left home, so there wasn't anything I could really do to stop it. I did speak to our parents, but they're useless. Second thing was about my kids. I didn't bring my kids around them very much as they didn't like going to my parents' house. They said it was boring and they don't like Mike. However, after all the comments I got about this, I sat them down and asked them again. For my daughter, it really is just that she finds it boring and says that Mike is a weirdo. My son, however, said that he doesn't like being around my dad as he keeps trying to make him play rugby. I have heard these comments and told my dad to drop it, but he would still make the comments occasionally. I had no idea that it was upsetting my son though, so this surprised me. My son doesn't like sports, be it watching or playing. He's very much like his dad in that regard. He's a Pokemon kid playing online and goes every Thursday evening to play in a tournament at our local card shop, so rugby is an absolute no-go for him. The third thing was about security at the wedding. I spoke to Kelly and Jake said that 2 of his groomsmen are police officers who are aware of the situation, so that won't be a problem. Lastly, there was a lot of comments about Mike being the golden child. For a bit more backstory, he wasn't really the favorite until his talent in rugby came to light. After that, he was special and had to be treated that way. I think he was seen as Mom and Dad's way of being special themselves within the family, as they had such a super talented child. Anyway, today I decided to sit down with my parents and tell them I needed a break from them. When I got there, my dad immediately wanted me to apologize to my mom, but I said that wasn't going to happen. There was a bit of back and forth between him and I, until my mom stepped in and asked why I was there if not to apologize. I told them that I'd spoken to Kelly, and she didn't want them at the wedding at all, that they needed to stay away and respect her decision. They weren't happy but said they wouldn't go where they weren't wanted. I then told them I wanted space until after the wedding as I couldn't keep being around them and keeping my mouth shut. I thought that space would be good for all of us. My mom wasn't happy and started on about seeing my kids. I told them the truth. My kids hated coming to their house and told my dad exactly why my son doesn't want to be around him. He got upset by this and said that rugby would be good for him. I shut that down and said I'm not going to force my son to do something he does want to and something I know he will hate. I also told him that if I hear him mention it around my son again, then he won't see my son again. Right now, they will only be seeing my kids at family events, so I'm hoping that it won't be a problem. I then asked them what their long-term plan was with Mike. Are they going to keep things the way they are until they're 90 and Mom will still be making all his meals? What happens when they're gone? Who will look after him because it won't be me? What happens if they get ill? Who will look after them? Mike is incapable. Kelly lives down south, and I plan on moving back to my husband's hometown 3 hours away once the kids have left home, so I can't do it. They just looked at me blankly. I really don't think that they had ever even thought about any of that before. I told them they had set Mike up to fail, and now they needed to deal with it. I also told them I knew that they were leaving everything to him in their will, but that with how they have babied Mike, he would blow through that money in less than a year, and then what? I could see the panic in my mom's eyes when I said that. She either hadn't thought about it, or she thought I would look after him, which she now knows isn't going to happen. I also think she was shocked that I knew about their will. After me telling them what low contact with me was going to look like going forward and them not being happy about it, I left. Hopefully, I've given them a lot to think about. I will check in with them from time to time, but that's all right now. I'm going to visit Kelly in the next couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. My extended family have also backed off after I sent them all a text saying if they were so concerned about my mom, then they could be her support system and deal with Mike the same way Kelly and I have had to for years. Not surprisingly, none of them wanted to. Otherwise, I'm going to just try and get on with things as normal. Thanks for the NTA verdict and all the advice. It opened my eyes to a few things that I'd been brushing off. Update 3 months later. Quick update. Hi all, sorry I went MIA, but I've been super busy. Not with this issue, but just with life in general. So Kelly got married last weekend, and everything went without a hitch. Our parents and Mike didn't even try to attend, but I know that Mom did try and contact her a few times before the wedding via other family member. Kelly wasn't interested, and made that clear by not responding and/or threatening the family member that they would be uninvited as well. That put an end to it. Mike is still a drain on society, according to a cousin of ours. I don't know firsthand as I've not been in contact with him at all. I've spoken to Mom and Dad once since the last post, and they haven't changed, so I don't have the energy to deal with them. My kids don't miss them one bit either, so it's not been a problem keeping the kids away from them. Right now, I'm just gonna get on with my life with my husband and kids. I've been talking to Kelly a lot more since all of this, which is a huge positive to come out of it. Sorry that there were no dramatics, like Mike and our parents trying to storm the wedding, but everything went smoothly. Thanks for all the comments and advice in my previous posts. Update 3 months later. Hi all, I said I would update if anything changed and something has started too. I think my mom has finally woke up and seen the light when it comes to Mike. It was my son's birthday 2 weeks ago, and my mom reached out to say she had got him some presents. I was a little reluctant to accept the presents as in the past they've all be rugby-based, but she promised that they weren't this time, so I let her come around to my house and give them to my son. Turns out my son is easily bought LOL. A friend of my mom's had gone to Seoul on holiday in October, and my mom had asked her to bring back some Pokemon cards if she could find any. My son loves Asian Pokemon cards and has a whole separate binder just for them. She brought back 20 packs back for him. My mom also got him a Pokemon backpack and a Teddy and Funko Pop of his favorite Pokemon. She had really put a lot of thought into what he likes and even gone to our local card shop and asked there about what to get him. Needless to say, my son was ecstatic. To me, this showed that she was really trying, and after that, I agreed to meet her for lunch a few days later. She told me that her and my dad were fighting all the time because of Mike. She had put her foot down and said that Mike needs to get a job and stick with it, and that she isn't going to give him any more money. My dad defended Mike, no surprise there, and said he just needed more time to find himself. This had led to loads of arguments and my mom going on strike. She isn't cooking for either my dad or Mike and isn't doing their washing or ironing. This is something she had done before when she is royally pissed off. She said that I was right when I told her that they weren't helping Mike by babying him and he needed to grow up. I was a little shocked by this, but very happy about it. I am speaking to her regularly again, and she seems to be adamant about Mike getting and keeping a job. I'm still a little reluctant to trust her fully, as she could very easily go back to how she was before, but I'm calling this a little bit of progress. My dad still has his head up his ass though. No change there. Anyway, I had a spare 10 mins and thought I'd keep you all updated. We will see how Christmas goes and if my mum backs down, but fingers crossed she has turned the corner. Update 4 months later. I said that I would update after Christmas, but life got complicated. I found out I was 4 months pregnant in early January, which was definitely not on my bingo card, and I've been busy trying to get ready for our little boy's arrival. Kelly is doing great. She's super happy with Jake and is over the moon that she is going to be an auntie again. I saw her over New Year when she stopped off on her way to Edinburgh for Hogmanay, which was great. My mum stayed with her sister over Christmas and New Year as she needed a break from Mike and Dad, who went to Dad's parents. Dad is still fully enabling Mike, but Mum has really turned a corner. I think her nearly losing both her daughters and grandchildren got through to her, and she has realized that her and Dad have set Mike up to fail as well as not being fair to us. She is trying to get Mike to get a job and be a productive member of society, but Dad is still giving him money and making his life as easy as possible, so Mike hasn't changed at all. This has led to Mum and Dad arguing constantly, so she decided to be away from them over Christmas, and when she went back, she moved into mine and Kelly's old room. She is still on strike, as she puts it, so isn't cooking, washing, cleaning, or really doing anything in the house. I don't know what will happen with Mum and Dad, but things can't stay like they are right now. I've been spending a lot of time with Mum. She has been coming around and making tea 3-4 times a week. Her cooking is amazing, so myself and my husband are not complaining. She is also ecstatic about another grandchild. She's been making a lot of effort with my son and daughter. My son trying to teach her how to play Pokemon is arguably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Me and my daughter couldn't stop laughing. She has also been spending time with my daughter, going to the cinema as my daughter's favorite thing to do. She wrote Kelly a letter apologizing for everything, and they had a long phone conversation in January. Kelly has gone from no contact with her to low contact, which is more than me or Mom thought would happen.
Myself and Kelly are still no contact with Dad and Mike. That's about everything. I think Dad is a lost cause, but I'm happy that Mom seems to have turned the corner. Final update 2 months later. Hi all, just another quick update. My mom is now living with her sister. I don't know exactly what was said, as my mom won't tell me, but basically my brother is a dick, and so is my dad. I fainted at work last week due to low blood pressure and was rushed to hospital where I had to stay for 2 nights. I'm now officially on maternity leave and have to rest. Doctors say that everything looks fine, and there's no signs of premature labor or preeclampsia, and baby boy is just fine. But to be on the safe side, I need to take things easy. I don't know about anyone else, but when I'm ill, I want my mom. My mom has had her shortcomings, but she's always been the one that looks after me when I'm ill. So, as soon as I told my husband I was at the hospital, I called my mom and burst into tears. She was at the hospital before my husband was and has barely left my side since. She's also been a huge help with the kids and making sure we are all fed delicious meals. On my second day at the hospital, something happened with my brother. All I know is that Mom had gone home after visiting hours had ended and my brother had said something horrible about me and my baby. My mom was furious and shouted at him. Of course, my dad backed up his special little boy, and this led to my mom screaming at my dad that he was a monster and a terrible human being. She then called her sister, who went around and helped my mom pack her things. So she has been living with my auntie since Wednesday. All of this I have found out through my auntie, as my mom refuses to speak about it. She won't even tell my auntie what my brother said, so it must have been bad. Dad thinks my mom is just being dramatic and will be back soon, but my mom has said she isn't going back and wants nothing to do with my brother or my dad. She's even joked about getting money from her half of her and Dad's house so she and my auntie can travel. I really hope she does that. My dad hasn't even contacted me to see if I'm okay, so I'm officially done with him as well. Just thought I'd give another update and people are still reaching out and my husband and kids are out whilst my mom is busy cooking, and I'm trying to find something to watch on Netflix. Growing up, we had 5 channels and there was always something to watch. Now we have hundreds and multiple streaming platforms and I can't find a thing, lol. What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.